Hey guys, this is Uberfrog coming to you with a deck profile on Spike Brothers. For those of you who don't know, Spike Brothers are an American football-based clan, and they tend to focus on beatdown and rushdown, where you try to accumulate a lot of quick damage on your opponent, and then move in for the kill by placing 5 attacks in one turn, usually breaking magic numbers. This profile is just basically to get an idea of what your deck should look like and maybe try out some new things that maybe you didn't know. So without further delay, we got our starting Vanguard here. It's kind of basic. It's just Counterblast 1, search for any grade 1 Spike Brother. The best use for this is generally to look for your Wonder Boy, which is your 8k vanilla, or your Perfect Guard, depending on how offensive or defensive you want to be in your gameplay. My trigger lineup are 4 heals, 4 draws, 4 crits, and another 4. So we got 8 crits in total here. This is actually really basic, and as per the moment, Spike Brothers can't really run anything else. The draw triggers are very helpful in the case of Spike Brothers because it's the one key card that actually allows you to draw without having to put much into resources. And it's actually like pretty much the only one available. So not much to be said on the trigger lineup. It's pretty basic, straightforward. Now we have our grade 1s. I like to run 3 of these. These are Reckless Express. They're 7k. They're pretty basic. They go along with your main combo. They say that you Soul Blast 1, and as 7k they turn into 12k beaters, and after that attack they get returned to the deck, which synchronizes with your main gameplay. So we have these. 4 vanillas, 8k. You kind of require these because the current metagame is 11 to 10k vanguards, and you always want to hit this magic number. Behind your main vanguard, Emperor Dudley, it'll always hit 21 steadily. So I very highly suggest you run 4 of these and try to get them as soon as possible. 4 perfect guards are pretty standard for this gameplay right now. You can run 3, but 4 just keeps your deck very consistent, very stable. And you will find yourself needing to block some attack in this current metagame, like some high ridiculous number of 31. So always good to have around. Run 4 of them. Now this is where opinions differ a little, but I run 2 Dudley Daisies. Now the reason for that is that situations depend on where you need a really good pusher. Maybe you have a front row and your opponent is a Kagero or a Narukami and keeps killing your back row. With the persona of this deck, Dudley Emperor, you can call these and also put in one more resource. You counterblast 1 so that instead of 7k boosters, they become 12k for that turn, helping you reach a really critical magic number with your grade 2s or maybe your grade 3. You can also run medical managers, I feel, but that tends to be only if you're soul blasting a lot for other effects. Again, builds can differ, and this is what I feel most comfortable with. So that's it for the grade 1s. I got my grade 2 lineup here. 4 Brockies, just to keep the combo going. Make sure that you get it off. They're 9k, they say Soul Blast 1, and you get an additional 5. So they're 14 on their own. Now, with any 7 or 8k, they definitely break that magic number. They'll hit 21 or 22 on their own. So, not much to be said there. We have 4 vanillas. This is just in case you don't want to put the resources of another booster behind them so that they can hit a 10k Vanguard, which is pretty standard in this metagame. Not much to be said. Just great overall card. I suggest having 4 of these. Again, we go to where opinions may vary, but I do run 2 Dudley Douglas. The reason for this? They're just like Brocky, where they have to take a resource to reach that 5k, but unlike Brocky, they don't disappear from the field after you use their effect, which is very good. Let's say you're in a kill scenario where you're aiming to do your 5 attacks, but your opponent pulls the trigger. This is a really, really terrible case for Spike Brothers, because once you start getting the train rolling, you can't really stop it. You've already spent a lot in resources, like a lot of your hand advantage, just trying to push for this game. These help mitigate that, because they still have 5k shield, they're interceptors, and they can still push for that number just by adding another counterblast. If you have a free row, I very highly suggest that if you can't win the game, call one of these. Try pushing a little harder with this. Maybe you want to add another daisy behind it or something and counterblast for another one just to make sure you get that attack off. I also run 2 superior interceptors. These are great just to run into once in a while, simply because with your Wonder Boy, your 8k vanilla, they hit 16 for that 11k Vanguard, and they're superior intercepts, so they gain an additional 5k shield. They can also be used by your Demonic Emperor Dudley's effect, just in case you feel like you need to survive one more turn for next game's push. Again, this entire deck is based on you pushing for game, but that has to come only if you can survive the turn, of course. These help do that. And the rest of the lineup is pretty basic. For grade 3s, you always should run 4 of these 11Ks that say Soul Blast 1, get an additional 5k. They work great with your combo, simply because they hit 16 on their own. That's amazing. That means your opponent has to consistently drop either a 10k or 2 5k shields. That's good without a booster behind it. But during your general pushing game, you'll see 2 of these on the rear guard. Swing and Soul Blast, go back into the deck, and come back out with boosters behind them, hitting for 24 or 23 dependent. They're great. I suggest having them on the rear guard as often as possible, unless, of course, certain scenarios arise whereas your opponent is simply attacking your rear guards and keeping you at 3 damage. Then maybe it might be your best case just to keep these in your hand. And then the persona of the deck we have here, Demonic Emperor Dudley. These are the persona of the deck. You very much need these to run it. You need to keep it at 4 to remain consistent, and their effect is, in my opinion, one of the best effects currently out. He gets an additional 3k when boosted by a Spike Brother. So with Wonder Boy behind him, he'll consistently hit 21 with no resource. Or he'll hit 2k with Dudley Daisy behind it. His main effect is you counterblast 2, you soul charge 2 from your hand, and you get to call 2 Spike Brothers from your deck to the rear to open rearguard circles. And this is when he declares an attack. So during your main attack, you'll see Dudley Emperor, probably with a Wonder Boy behind it, swing for 21, soul charge 2, and he gets this effect. The reason why this is such a powerful and potent effect is the fact that you're basically recycling cards for hitting magic numbers. 5 attacks in 1 turn. How it basically works is you swing with one of your Juggernaut Maximums for 16 by Soul Blasting 1 without a booster behind it, and he'll go back into the deck after that attack. so he's gone for now. You do the same with the other one. Where the magic comes in is when you use this effect and soul charge 2 cards, you get to put these back onto the field, onto these open rearguard circles you made on your own by soul blasting. Now, that means that you basically got to stand these for free. But not only that, you hit 16, a magic number, and you have boosters behind them again, making them very, very frightening and difficult to stop. That's not even including the triggers which come after this effect. Very effectively putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. Overall, one of my favorite decks right now. It's very much on par with the rest of the meta, which, as you might know, is Kagero, Gold Paladin, and as of now, Tsukiyomi. I very highly suggest playing this deck. It's a lot of fun. And I hope you have some good games. This is Uber Frog signing off.